Hello and welcome to a video covering some common mistakes in addition to some advice for both new and existing players. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The first new mistake players make is not using the right ammunition. I tend to examine players every now and then out of curiosity, and to this day I still see some players with level 99 range using Araxite arrows with their Noxious longbow or regular Ascension bolts with their Ascensions. Reasons behind these choices could be that players do not know about more powerful ammunition existing, or they're falling into the trap of thinking cheap ammo will save them money. While the latter reason is situational, generally speaking the benefits of enchanted ammo outweigh the added costs at higher levels. There's of course no reason to use gold arrows or goblins, for example. Personally, whenever I use crossbows, I mainly stick to using ruby criminal bolts enchanted while using the Hardux bolts for adrenaline gain if required. If I really need the extra healing because I'm pushing in rage or doing something very difficult and I want to make it easier on myself, I do use Onyx Criminal Bolts E to give myself that little bit extra healing, although I rarely do this. Arrow wise, if it's damage I need and the boss has high defense, I rock arrows of Wen. For dragon based bosses like Elite Dungeon 2, the best in slot ammunition would be to be using Jazz Dragonbane ammunition. If I have lots of accuracy or I can reduce the accuracy to a point where I can use full arrows, I camp those. By the way, you can reduce a boss's defense for the entire kill by using Blackstone arrows. Just a switch. For poisonable bosses, I mainly camp big arrows. Now it can get much more complex and switchy, and it all depends on the boss and even some phases, for example Nex, but this will give you a general idea of what to use. Again, if you're doing some kind of low level creature or you're killing a quest boss, you of course don't need this ammunition, but for high level slayer and bossing, it is very useful. If you are AFKing something though, you should try today's sponsor. Dungeon Hunter 6 is a free-to-play MMO action RPG that you can play on your mobile device. What action is there to enjoy? All of it. Smack anything and everything that comes on your screen using one of these 6 completely unique characters available that each feature their own skills and abilities. Are you seeing the amount of stuff that's on the screen? Monsters, explosions, and skills popping off showing big numbers. Yes, that's exactly what you want. A fun experience is all but guaranteed, but so is a battery-draining speedrun. Grab a charger and your friends and take on the hundreds of bosses this game has to offer. What's that? You don't have any friends? Well, don't worry, as you can summon up to 3 bosses you've defeated to fight along your side or use as a ride. No, I wasn't kidding. Download Dungeon Hunter 6 for free on Android and iOS, and by using my link in the description below or scanning the QR code on screen, you'll get a special starter pack with 10 summoning scrolls, this demonic wolf, and an accessory pack. Mistake number 2 are players buying and camping luck rings when other rings are available to them. The luck of the dwarves in ring or relic power form is the main culprit here, providing what's known as tier 4 luck. It sounds super useful, but in practice, this ring only provides a 1% increased chance at receiving rare boss drops. This is a minor improvement you will never notice in practice unless you were to PVM tons. Camping the ring or using it as a relic power is a waste of either the ring slot, for which stronger rings exist, or an archaeology relic power slot. This doesn't mean it is useless because it does have its benefits, but it's simply not worth buying for the average Joe PVMing. It's something that is a very low priority unlock when upgrading your gear that you would only use as a switch at the end of the kill. Players usually think that the luck of the dwarves is an important upgrade and buy it over much more influential upgrades such as ability codices or unlocking overloads. Don't do this, guys. Speaking of upgrades, players that upgrade armor over weapons are common sight in RuneScape. Perhaps with the introduction of necromancy, it should be a little less common, as the skill does stimulate a certain path of progression where you kind of have to upgrade your weapons, but it still definitely happens. For some reason, players think that the higher tier armor will make them significantly more tanky and deal far more damage. In RuneScape, however, generally speaking, you would upgrade your weapons or unlock certain abilities and potions before upgrading your armor. There are some armor sets that provide a major buff, but generally speaking, you would upgrade your weapons first. Mistake number 4, not using dailies. I know what you're going to say. Daily escape is bad, and yes, while it isn't the most enjoyable playstyle sometimes, it is unfortunately highly effective and almost too effective to not be doing when you're going for max. Dailies persist in the form of short activities you can do every single day that reward high amounts of experience or money for the time invested. Examples of XP getting dailies are player-owned farms, divine locations, wilderness warbands, sinkholes, and Cathixian caches. Examples of money-making dailies are shop runs or the Rune Goldberg machine. The next mistake is avoiding familiarizing yourself with the interface and giving up on it too soon. It's common to see new or existing players complain about Runescape's UI, and that's definitely justified. It isn't the simplest, but that's also because it's so customizable. I personally think that players exaggerate how complex the interface is, especially considering that you don't really interact with it after setting it up correctly. The real issue is that there aren't any up-to-date presets that you can use or share with other players, causing players to have to watch external guides like my own. Link below. In this video, I teach you how to build a useful and clear interface within a couple of minutes while also going through some of the buried but extremely useful settings. Setting up your interface early and familiarizing yourself with it might cost some time, but it will save you lots of searching and headaches later on. Of course, I don't expect someone to follow a video like this when just starting out, but if you've been playing for a little bit, I do think a video like that can be a fantastic tool. I'm guessing most players watching this video will have been guilty of the next mistake players make: selling your gear for other gear, or even worse, cosmetics. Let's start with selling your gear for cosmetics. Cosmetics are awesome, but I personally think that the novelty of having the newest holiday themed item or outfit quickly wears off most of the time. It's not worth selling your gear for at all, as that will negatively impact your ability to make money for future cosmetics and other gear. Selling your gear for other gear is a bit more of a complex topic, but in short, too many players see their gear as investments that they intend to resell, while in reality, they should just keep it as a weapon they ever need or don't need. I reckon selling armor weapons is only justified if you can buy a direct upgrade because of it for the style you're using. Completely liquidating your gear to full gear for other styles because that now so happens to be the meta is a bad idea, as you'll be buying that gear at meta-worthy prices just when everybody else wants to buy it, so the price is at the highest it could be, and as soon as a different style gets buffed, you'll be paying these same meta-worthy prices to get your old gear back. And you'll also run into other issues such as having to reperk your gear. Aiming to have multiple sets of high-level armor and weapons is a good goal, because that way you'll have options and you'll be more versatile in terms of switching for different types of content. The next mistake is players focusing too much on earning RuneScape gold early on. There could be so many reasons as to why this happens, but the reality is that it does happen. When you play RuneScape, making money is always going to be a part of progression, whether that's to pay for skilling supplies or to obtain better combat gear. Money making should not consume all of your time, especially if you don't have access to high-level methods. Low-level combat or skilling money makers, with some exceptions, generally suck. And what do you need all of that money for right now anyway? At your level, a full set of gear will cost you less than one high-tier weapon. Use some of the tips mentioned in this video, like doing dailies for XP gains and money making early on, and worry about big money later on. The next mistake is not buying membership when you know you enjoy the game. Free-to-play has plenty of content, but completing all of it before membership is unnecessary and a disservice to your progression. Free-to-play should be seen as a trial to see if you like the game before spending money. Almost everything is faster with membership. Content is generally more fun, you have access to more content, and making money is easier. Just don't go farming one low-level method all the time, like the previous mistake. I do want to say that if you're from an on-average lower-income country or you're not able to afford membership, then this of course doesn't apply to you. Your only options of then getting into membership would be by buying bonds of RuneScape GP, which is very expensive and hard to do, especially your first bond, because free-to-play money makers are terrible. The next mistake mainly applies to recently returned players, and that is not realizing that the wilderness is completely safe nowadays. As long as you have PvP turned off, which you can do at the Val NPC, yes, PvP is toggleable, and then you're 100% safe. There are only two other things you need to know. One is ignore people asking you to go to a certain area or to trade you a certain item. Just don't do it. Those are usually lures. And don't bring a demonic skull in the wilderness. This is an item that will skull you and turn PvP on, and there will be warning messages for you the first time, but for whatever reason, if you click through, or just don't do it, and you're safe. You can teleport to the bank or other teleports anywhere in the wilderness you want, as long as PvP is turned off, so it's essentially just like any other area. Really good to know. Go ahead and do your wilderness things. The final mistake isn't even really a mistake, but more something players need to do more. It's like a tip. As everyone knows, RuneScape is an extensive game with countless items, methods, and activities. There's just so much to know that using the RuneScape wiki is recommended for any player, new, existing, or expert. It doesn't matter. The RuneScape wiki has clear and compact information on pretty much anything you'd like to know. How to craft items, where to find NPCs, boss mechanics, quest help, how to recover items you've deleted, release dates, skill calculators, and more. You can easily access the wiki in-game by using the wiki button or typing /wiki and then proceeding to type whatever you want to look up. And there you have it. Those are some of the most common RuneScape mistakes I've seen occur over the past few years. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.